Well, hello, hello. It's again another Friday night. Here we
Yes,
are
it
with
is.
favorite therapist, Miss Tori. How are you doing this evening?
Doing good. Doing good. It's Friday once again. Happy about that.
Yes, indeed. And two things I want to point out. The first one is Miss Tori is here to help you. And as you can see on the banner above, if you need therapy, you can go to her website, which is www.thedorseytherapy.com. Please check it out. Get yourself checked out. And don't delay. Go ahead and check it out. The second thing I wanted to definitely showcase is once again, we are sponsored by Melon, actually partnered with Melon, and we're on the Melon platform today. So let's run that bean footage of Melon. One second. Are you tired with your boring podcast with no kind of flavor? You need some melon in your life. Melon is a web-based recording streaming studio that enables creators like you to record content and go live with ease. Professional quality to invite your friends to your show. Now you can get with that, or you can get with this. Melon. No downloads required, tons of customizations. Record from desktop, laptop, and mobile. Join the revolution. Join Melon. melonapp.com. Yes, indeed. And that's our partnership with Melon. Find people there to give you your great experiences on their streaming platform. And I'm going to tell you, check it out. That's Melon app. Instead of melon.com, it's the Melon app. All right, check it out. All right. So, when everybody wants to talk to me while I'm here, okay. Never fails.
Yeah, in the middle of a show. Yeah.
That's how it works.
hmm Like
So,
really, right now, right now, right now.
so we have these past weeks spoke about great things. We talked about courage. We talked about um, trying to remember what was the other one. Talked about courage,
Talked
and
about leadership. Yeah.
all these wonderful things to get you encouraged to move forward. To,
Purpose. Yeah, we talked about purpose.
yes.
hmm
So tonight is no different. We are wanting to keep that encouragement going, and we are talking about empowerment. Did you by any chance get the definition?
I did. I did get the definition.
Awesome.
Um, uh, what is the meaning of empowerment? So the dictionary says it is the authority or power given to someone to do something or the process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling one's life and claiming one's rights.
Hmm.
Empowerment is simple and it comes down to one thing, and that is choices.
Hmm.
I got more than one definition here.
Here.
Empowerment is the degree of autonomy and self determination in people and in communities. This enables them to represent their interests in a responsible and self determined way, acting on their own authority. It is the process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling one's life and claiming one's rights.
Hmm.
So
That's a
it's a
pretty
lot there.
question. Yeah.
hmm
Goodness. So, you know me, I got my questions and I got plenty of questions for you again today.
Okay.
Did you want to start on the questions or did you have more you want to give into?
No, we can get started with the questions. No, we can get started with questions. I am moving just a little bit.
No worries.
This is not
Now,
supposed to happen during the podcast, but
this
I got
writer
to.
is a big fan of Tony Robbins. So a lot
Uh-huh.
of his was kind of picked up from some of him. But anyway,
Okay.
Here's question one. What is the way forward? He then parentheses says, it's a big question, but it reminds me to cut a path through the forest. Is it ambiguity and chaos? Ambiguity. Ambiguity? Again, words. Ambiguity. I can never pronounce that right.
Ambiguity, yes.
Sorry, guys. Ambiguity. I know the grammar Nazis are freaking out right now, so my bad. Ambiguity and chaos. What is the way forward?
I mean, I guess that's kind of a all-encompassing question. I actually started listening to a book today. Just started today. It's a book by Napoleon Hill, and apparently he's a pretty popular author, written a lot of stuff on how to be successful. But the book I started listening to today is called Dream Big. And so at the beginning, he's kind of talking about ambition, and not just ambition. I think I made some notes here. But what I heard today really stuck out in my mind, as in he was saying adversity is a blessing in disguise. So ambition, adversity, and we'll kind of, I guess, highlight some of these things as further into the podcast. Enthusiasm, self-confidence, self-discovery, and the banishment of fear. So, the way forward, I mean, I guess one of those would be ambition. Like, how much passion do you have for what you're doing? I think that's part of it. And do you have the confidence? Do you believe that you can actually accomplish what you set out to do?
I can agree with that. What do you want your life to be about?
That's the question.
Even or not, it is. What do you?
I mean, I guess everybody has to kind of. The music is distracting me a little bit. Turn down just a little. I guess everybody has to make that decision for themselves, what they want their life to be about. I mean, me personally, I guess I think about, what I want to accomplish while I'm here. And I also think about, like what's my legacy? What do I want to leave behind? I mean, what do I want to say about myself, and what would others say about me after I'm gone?
Right.
So I think that's important.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, let's see here. Who do you want to be, and what experiences do you want to create?
I think I am the person that I want to be. I mean, some things we always dream about, but that's a good question that we should ask ourselves day in and day out. Like, am I who I want to be? Am I that person? I'm not talking about goals necessarily, but am I the person that I want to be? And I definitely feel like I am. I mean, there's more things that I want to accomplish, but I am the person that I want to be.
Understood.
Hey, Erica.
Welcome to the show, Erica. Okay. Are you giving your best where you have, excuse me, let me read it again. Are you giving your best where you have your best to give?
Yeah, that's a good question. Am I giving my best? Like, and I really, there was this saying a long time ago, like, I can't remember it. I'm probably going to mess it up, but attitude well, one of them was attitude determines your altitude, like, um, and your attitude really determines a lot of things. Sometimes we get fed up or we get discouraged or disappointed,
Mm-hmm.
and we allow that to affect our attitude, you know. But if you realize that, where I am currently, my current state of being is not where I'm going to be forever. Like, I'm just at this particular point and place in time right now. But right now is not my forever,
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of what's going on, it's like, this isn't, whatever's going on, this isn't forever,
Right.
you know.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I know in my present circumstances, this here is temporary as far as my own personal goal.
Hmm.
Definitely about a year from now, I want the house. Got to get the house because the amount of money I'm putting into this place and not getting it back, that frustrates me. So definitely
Mm.
get a home after that. All righty. If anyone that has already joined us has not subscribed to the channel, please do so and subscribe, like, and comment. Alrighty. How does that serve you in terms of who you are and what you want to be? How does that serve you in terms of who you are and who you want to be?
So in the question, what is that? It's saying, how does that, but I don't know what is that.
Hmm, that's a good question. How does that serve you in terms of who you are and who you want to be? I guess it depends on something. Apparently, it depends on something specific, but I don't know. He didn't give any more to that.
Oh, okay.
There's plenty more. I can go to the next.
Okay.
What do you want to accomplish? That is definitely a question you should ask yourself to be purposeful.
Well, I mean, I guess some of these questions I'm not sure how to answer. But because it's all on, that's a question that's individual, because all of us don't want to accomplish the same thing. Um, but as far as, my purpose and mission and goal in terms of what I do in therapy is to, and I've said this before, to facilitate, to help, you know, to help other people grow, to come up with solutions. It's also a process of self discovery, and finding out things about yourself. So, I think that's a very individual question. What do you want to accomplish? I mean, I definitely want to continue to be a better therapist, not, be a better mother, be a better friend, be a better confidant. I mean, whatever. I want to improve in all those areas. As far as goals, like I've talked about, putting on a conference, doing something locally, doing something overseas, So everybody individually has to ask that question of, what do you want to accomplish? And do you believe that you can? You know,
Because
do
you
you
have to.
believe that you can do you believe that you can actually accomplish the things that you're setting out to do?
Mhm. Gotcha. What do you want to do more of each day? And what do you want to spend your time doing more of? So one is
Um,
want to do more of each day, and the other is what do you want to spend your time doing more of?
well, I don't know. I feel like maybe some of these questions are not leading to the conversation of empowerment, but
Mhm.
um, so in terms of empowerment, I mean, I did kind of look up some stuff
Sure.
real quick. So empowerment can be developed from being respectful and non-judgmental. I mean, that's one of the key elements that, you know, in my work with clients and couples, like the key element being, you know, the first thing that one of the things that we talk about relative to communication is being non-judgmental. Like, I don't, you know, if I want to talk about something that is relative to my feelings, or I want to talk about something that has to do with the relationship, I need to say it in a non-judgmental way. I need to say it without criticism,
Hmm.
because if I'm saying it with criticism, or I'm expressing certain things that I'm concerned about by making accusations, then what's the first thing that the other person's going to do? They're going to be defensive. And so that presents a barrier when it comes to communication. Um, but as far as empowerment goes, it's important for me to be non-judgmental and respectful of the thing that you say you want to accomplish.
Hmm.
And we kind of talked about that, I think, a little bit last week as well.
I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see here. I had dug deep. These questions may not have been what we need, which is fine. These are empowering questions. If you're bored, unhappy, or depressed, you're probably asking yourself diminishing questions, questions that make you less feel powerless, victimized, not in control. The
Uh-huh.
questions we ask ourselves and our self-talk causes us to focus on that which produces answers. All right. How can I become better organized? How can
Mm.
I solve this problem and have fun doing it? How can I, excuse me, how, correction, what can I do to make myself more promotable? And the last
More
one,
promotable.
yeah, promotable. How can I make this task more fun? 2 out of 4 of the questions had more fun. It has to
Okay.
be, yeah.
Well, let's go to one question, because I don't think I can answer all of that at one time.
I'll give them back over. Let's start with the
Okay.
first. How can I become better organized?
Well, I mean, if organization is not your forte, then sometimes you might hire somebody, you know, to help you be more organized, or if you've identified somebody in your life space who is more organized and lives a more structured life, then, you know, I would suggest asking them for some tips, or asking, you know, for them to provide some suggestions on organization. Because a lot of time, and you know, one of the things we talked about before is accessing your resources. There might be somebody in your life that already knows how to do some of the things that you want to do. And so sometimes it's just being bold enough and brave enough to ask for help, you know, in those things. Um, so you know,
Agreed.
if something is not necessarily my strength, then I'm going to ask for help, you know.
I have no problem with asking for help. I hear you. How can I solve this problem and have fun doing it?
Um, How can I solve this problem and have fun doing it? Well, I mean, I know before I've read a book called Strength Finders, and in there it kind of talks about focusing, especially in a team environment, like focusing on strengths. You know, I'm not going to focus on what you don't know how to do, and I'm not going to focus on your challenges. I'm going to focus on the things that you do well. Um, so, no matter what type of a relationship it is, like I want to focus on your strengths. What are the things that you do well?
Mm-hmm.
What are your skills and your abilities? I want to hone in on that and focus on that, because I feel like that is the thing that helps people feel empowered. When people start pointing out your gifts and your talents, and I'm recognizing the things that you do well. you know no matter what it is. It could be, I like the way you cut the yard, or I like the way that you encourage me, or I like the way you put that together. I like the way you dress. I like your style. I mean, it could be something simple or it can be something very specific. But when we, focus and pay attention to the strengths, that's the thing that helps us feel empowered, and like we can meet the present challenge. So,
It is. What can I do to make myself more promotable?
well, I guess that sounds more business career stuff. So, um, that could involve beefing up your resume. I mean, there's some amazing things that can improve your resume with the way things are worded. Um, but more promotable, I mean, we have social media, right? And so sometimes it's just learning how to use social media to your advantage. Or like with my company in particular, um, there's a company, therapy sites, which they handle portions of your social media for you. They'll post for you, so they do, I guess, a little bit of advertising for you. So, that's one way of promoting yourself. um, and I think that a lot of people nowadays are definitely using LinkedIn and other resources, getting in contact with recruiters, because a lot of times, depending on what type of job that you're looking for, recruiters will tell you exactly what you need to do, in order to promote, the position that you're looking for, or you know, there's some, they'll give you some guidance in terms of, what you need to do professionally.
Indeed. And just like how you said, if you need help, there are people that actually help you with
Hmm.
promotional, social, social media promotions and stuff like that. So definitely. Let's see. Okay. How could I behave differently to get a more positive response from the other?
Well, I know, one thing we kind of brought out last week is also mentoring, counseling. Um, if you feel like you're not getting the type of response that you want from people, I mean, sometimes, it's strategy, sometimes it's approach, sometimes it's the way that we're dealing with a certain situation that can cause hindrances.
Mhm.
So, if I'm approaching something with an empathic attitude, where I am prepared to listen, then I'm gonna get a lot more than I would if I'm approaching it, in a aggressive way. There's different types of tactics that people use when it comes to, dealing with issues or confrontation. But I think the best tactic is to listen and be empathic, because if I'm aggressive or passive aggressive, then I'm not going to get, more than likely, I'm not going to get the response that I'm looking for. So,
Mhm. Yes, indeed. Is there anything humorous about the situation that I haven't noticed? I don't know what this is again. Once again, we have a this
yeah,
or that.
I don't know where you're getting these questions.
Let's
It
see.
sounds like these questions sound like it's attached to a conversation that's already happening. So,
So
or it's the tail end of some conversation.
I
I don't
got you.
know. Yeah.
My bad, y'all. What can I do today to improve my situations?
Um, well, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I guess again, in terms of empowerment, I mean, respect is very important. So it's respecting yourself, and it's also respecting the decisions that other people are making for their life. You know, like again, if I'm judgmental, if, if I feel like there's just one right and wrong, or I'm trying to decide who's right and wrong, then that's where ego kind of gets in the way, you know,
Right.
and it's not, it's not needed or necessary. Um, some other things that I kind of looked up with empowerment. Here it says, what is employee empowerment and why is it important? So, empowerment, and we kind of defined it before. Employee empowerment is a management strategy that aims to give employees the tools and resources necessary to make confident decisions in the workplace without supervision. So, if I'm empowering someone, then it's important for me to make them feel confident about the decisions that they need to make. I'm trusting. Again, last week we kind of touched on trust. Like, I'm trusting them to do the job, you know, and so that's a part of empowerment. I'm letting you know that I trust you. I'm letting you know that you have what it takes to do whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether it's an entrepreneurial um, goal that you have, or whether it's something that is connected to your job. Like, I'm letting you know that you have what it takes. You have the tools, you have the resources, you have the skill to do the job. So, and I'm supporting you in that, and I'm encouraging you in that. So, that's a big part of it. The key components of empowerment is authority. Number one is authority. Are you giving your team the latitude and the resources to make the decisions that they need to make? You know, um, am I encouraging you to have initiative? I mean, sometimes, and I know, like, some people will get that feedback from a boss or a supervisor. Well, I don't feel like you take an initiative.
Mhm.
What exactly does that mean? I'm not taking initiative. And that might mean that you have the purview, that you have the ability to make certain decisions in your job, and you're not making those decisions. You're not utilizing the initiative. So that's part of it. Resources is also a necessary component of empowerment. I mean, how are you going to feel empowered and you don't know how to get to resources that you need to, in order to fulfill the goals that you're trying to complete, or the things that you're trying to accomplish? I need to be aware of what my resources are, you know.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'll ask people like, give me some referral information, because maybe I don't have that information, or maybe I'm not the best person to come to for certain things, but I want to be able to, allow people to access other resources. So resources is a big part of that. And then, of course, what we touched on also last week is information and accountability.
Mhm.
It's necessary for us to be accountable. You know, um, if I'm not responsible, if I'm not, if I'm not accountable, if I'm not doing the things that I said I was gonna do, then that takes away from empowerment as well. So,
All righty.
did you have some other questions? Like,
I do.
okay,
Are part of the program or not, we'll soon find out.
we'll figure it out.
We will. So what we're gonna do, since it's the halfway point, we're gonna have our blast artist of the week. This is my man Chris White, and this is I Said What I Said.
I said what I said. I am not afraid. I'm a manly man, baby, get a dog if you scared. I said what I said, I'm black like Bernie Mac. I am not afraid, I'm a manly man. Maybe get a dog if you scared. Cats stay on the porch, I only run with thoroughbreds. I said what I said, I'm black like Bernie Mac. I am not afraid, I'm a manly man. Maybe get a dog if you scared. Cats stay on the porch. Dear racism, let me be transparent. No more Mr. Nice Guy, I am not my grandparents. Fed up, enough is enough. Like for real, what's up? Both middle fingers up. We've been waiting on Dr. King's dream, but that knee on Floyd's neck got me leaning more towards Malcolm X. By any means, and you ain't seen nothing yet. You reap what you sow, so you know what to expect, ho. What you expect, I have supreme intellect. So when I call you out your name, it's with all disrespect. Since you wouldn't heed when we tried a peaceful protest, now we're gonna need you to shut up and cut the check. Too many victims to name, so sick of the attacks, and no amount of reparations could ever bring them back. Now before you fix your mouth to talk about them bootstraps, know this whole mother was built on my ancestors' back. You probably say I'm not a Christian and my words lack tact. So in Jesus' name I pray your grandbabies be black. When you can't sleep and count sheep, I hope they be black. And in your dreams see me kicking this rap at the deep pack. In a room filled with brothers and sisters, we be packed. Screaming wake up, thirsty your coffee and tea black. Like a Tootsie Roll, whatever you think you see black. Ever haunted by the ghosts of those murdered in ski masks. Shame that they had to die to be free at last. Land of the free, huh? We don't believe that trash. No matter how low the price go, keep your gas. And unless I'm buying black, I'ma keep my cash. Collectively, let me speak on the black people's behalf. You wouldn't listen, now you wanna talk, we'll pass. Y'all funny like Harlem Nights, making us laugh like Deloise kiss our entire, yeah. I said what I said, I'm black like Bernie Mac. I am not afraid, I'm a manly man. Maybe get a dog if you scared. Cats stay on the porch, I only run with thoroughbreds, yeah. I said what I said, I'm black like Bernie Mac. I am not afraid, I'm a manly man. Maybe get a dog if you scared. Cats stay on the porch, I only run with thoroughbreds. I said what I said, I'm black like Bernie Mac. I am not afraid, I'm a manly man. Get a dog if you scared. I only run with thoroughbreds. I said what I said, black like Bernie Mac. I am not afraid, I'm a manly man. Maybe get a dog if you scared. Cats stay on the porch, I only run with thoroughbreds. Now say his name, say her name, say his name. Injustice mean no peace. We don't need no racist nail police. No justice mean no peace. We don't need no racist nail police. Yeah, I said what I said. I am not afraid. We prepared like we ain't scared. We ain't scared, yeah. I said what I said on black like Bernie Mac. I am not afraid, I'm a manly man. Maybe get a dog if you're scared. Cat stay on the porch, I only run with thoroughbreds.
Yes, indeed. That was Chris White with I Said What I Said. And also, if you would like to be an artist with Blast Music, you can go to blastmusic247.com, register as an artist for free, and be a part of the family. That is blastmusic247.com. Changing the industry one artist at a time. Alrighty. Erica actually has some questions.
Okay.
She's first. I have a few questions. Empowerment has become a buzzword in our society. What does it mean to you to be empowered? Ugh.
Me personally, I would say that it means that I feel like I have the ability to accomplish the things that I set out to accomplish. Not only do I have the ability to set goals to fulfill my desires, but I actually believe I can. I actually believe that I have the ability to do it. And then she had another question.
Indeed. She said, can you be empowered by others, or is it that something you have to do for yourself?
I think it's both, I think it's both. I mean, when I receive encouragement, from loved ones, from friends, from, people that I care about, I feel like I'm on top of the world, I feel like I'm on cloud nine, so but I know there are some days also where I have to encourage myself, where I have to reach down within myself and be able to tell myself, no, Victoria, you can't do this. You know, you can't listen to that negative self-talk. You can't go down that road because you already know. I mean, you already know what's down that road. You already, you've been there, done that before. You don't need to do that again. You know what that feels like.
Yeah.
So there are some things like, no, don't beat yourself up. Um, don't feel like, this isn't going to happen. It is going to happen. So I would say both, like we need encouragement from people around us, whether it's a boss, whether it's your romantic partner, like we need that encouragement. I mean, but also inside me, I need to find empowerment and encouragement. And I think I said before, like there are some meditations. Deepak Chopra has some amazing meditations, and one of them is empowerment, and it's like a 21-day meditation experience. And so, sometimes we got to get our mind ready. Like I said, I just started listening to this book by Napoleon Hill called Dream Big. I've listened to TD Jakes, Soar. There's I can't even name all the stuff that I've listened to, but my Audible's library is on point. So, but I'm actually trying to, like really listen and take notes. And there's some things that I need to listen to again, just, because what you listen to and what you take in, that gives you a sense of empowerment as well. So
I do agree about the times you got to kind of coach yourself, look in
yeah,
the mirror, tell yourself you can do this, because I've done it.
Absolutely.
I've done it plenty of times, and because sometimes you won't have that other voice, so you gotta encourage yourself. And it
Yeah.
happens. You know.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What can I do to create a positive environment for myself?
Yeah. Well, you know, ways in which we can achieve self empowerment. I mean, I know that we've heard this so many times over the years, and, sometimes it even sounds cliche, but love yourself. There are some wonderful, beautiful, talented, just awesome things about yourself that
Mhm.
sometimes, we really need to take inventory. Like, you was on fire. You know, what you did was awesome. I mean, I was listening to a client last night, and I was just I'm of course I can't say what the nature of the conversation was, but I was literally amazed because I was picturing myself, I was putting myself in some of the situations that they were talking about, and I literally asked them, like, how did you do it? How did you get past that? How did you, and like now you find yourself in such a better situation, like you're healthier, of course there's some things in therapy that they're working on, but it's just like when I really listen to some of the things that people say, I am amazed. I am so amazed because there's some tremendous things that have happened and are happening, and they're in a much better place. And it's like sometimes we just really need to take inventory and love yourself. Love yourself, you know, adore yourself. And I'm not talking about narcissism, but I'm talking about really and truly loving yourself.
So,
Um, Go ahead.
sorry, I was going to say Erica actually had another question.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
what would you say to someone who struggles to empower others due to low self esteem, but the person knows it's in them to empower?
Well, just like everything, like Allen Iverson says, practice.
Hmm.
It's about practice. I mean, and granted, like, we're here and I'm talking about this stuff, but we're not talking about perfection. And I'm not perfected in any of this. Any of these things, these topics, and these things that we've talked about and explored, like I'm not perfected in it, but but it's practice. I mean, it is practice. It's doing it over and over and over and over and over and over again. I don't care how many times you got to do it. I don't care how many times you got to talk to yourself in the mirror until you get that thing in your soul and in your spirit, not just in your mind. It's not just a mechanical or logical thing, but get it in your spirit, you know. I mean, back in the day when I was a kid, I would always hear God didn't make junk, you know, and that's true. God didn't make junk, you know, so so I have to practice, you know, just like I practice, communicating and talking and sharing. I'm also practicing those things with myself. So that's what it takes. It is, it's on repeat until my head connects to my heart. It's going to be on repeat. We as human beings, we have to be reminded.
Yeah.
And just like I've said before, and it just keeps happening over and over again. Like I'm talking to clients and they're like, well, I'm having a hard time with this, and this. Or, just like we talked about imposter syndrome. And it's like, you doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it. You're doing the thing that you said that you wanted to do. You got the thing that you was asking for or praying for. You are doing it. And they're like, you're right. I am doing it. I'm sitting here talking about what I'm not doing, or I'm sitting here talking about what I'm not happen, what's not happening, but it is happening. It's happening, and it's happening right now. So it's just, you know, and that's what we're doing when we're empowering others. We're reminding them, like, I can identify some actual things that you have told me. I identify that as a strength. You know, there's been situations or circumstances that you've gotten out of, and I identified that as a strength. And so I'm reminding you. I'm reminding you of something that's already present. A lot of times it's not, you're not waiting to acquire it. You might be waiting to use it, but you're not waiting to acquire it. You have the ability within you to do these things, and maybe you just have forgotten. And so sometimes we got to be reminded. You've done this before. Maybe it was a different situation or a different circumstance, but you've done this before.
If I may piggyback on everything that you said, I can totally attest to that, because she could tell you 90 days ago, I was a different person mentally, emotionally, probably physically also, because my mind was everywhere else but where it needed to be. And due to that fact that I started getting out of my shell, making some decisions for myself, I would say, elevated myself to where I wanted to be, making more money than I was before just in 90 days. And it's based on a decision you make for yourself. You got to be more determined than your fear. And that's basically what helped me get to where I am. Because being a business owner and being afraid to talk to people, that's not going to work. It's not going to work well at all. So I'm actually an introvert, but I've learned to have extroverted ways because of my business, because of the podcast and what I do.
Yeah.
But you can do it. If I can do it, you can definitely do it.
Yeah, and really, what you're talking about is enthusiasm. I mean, I remember sermons back in the day, where the pastor was saying enthusiasm means God in us. Is realizing that you have that capacity within you. When you get up and you have a positive attitude, and maybe everything in your life isn't perfect, but you're enthusiastic, you have a positive attitude, you have a spirit of expectation. I'm not, it's like I'm waiting, I'm expecting something. I'm expecting something good, I'm expecting, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I'm expecting something good to happen. I'm expecting things to grow continually with my business, with myself, with my family, with my friends, with, whoever, with coworkers, with business partners. I live in a spirit of expectancy. I'm not expecting my life to fall apart. I'm not waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm not waiting for a phone call, with something that I ain't waiting for that.
Facts.
Is it possible that it might happen? Sure. But I'm not waiting for it. I'm not expecting it. And whatever it is, I don't have to have a negative attitude about it.
Right.
So,
just like a farmer, when he plants corn, he's expecting corn. He plants carrots, he's expecting carrots. You got to have that same kind of mentality with you, coming out of you to plant something, or coming out of you to make something happen for yourself. Expect it to come back in return 100-fold or more.
Absolutely.
And it's possible, guys. I'm telling you, it's far-fetched and far away from reach initially, until, like the therapist says, practice. You don't have to start trying to hit the home run. Just get on base. Just do something. It's the
Right.
matter
Do
of
something.
doing something, and then you'll see something awesome happen. I promise you.
Yeah.
All
I mean, it's just, I mean, I just feel like the principle of sowing and reaping
right.
applies to every aspect of our life, relationships,
Facts.
professionally, no matter what. Like, if you're making an investment, you're going to get something out of it. you know Now, granted, I know that the situations and I know certain circumstances don't necessarily turn out the way that we originally anticipated, but I'm saying, if we stay in the game in the long run, it's all going to come into fruition.
Yeah.
It's you're going to reap something.
Mhm.
So I mean, that principle just applies in every aspect of life. So
Indeed. You can do it. I believe.
uh,
Let's see. Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's be a little more practical.
okay, all right, let's do it.
If I had three wishes, what would they be?
More money, more money, more money. No, money would be one wish. I would
It would
probably I'd be like, I need a house big enough for all my shoes.
that may definitely be number two.
I need a bigger closet. I know my friends be like, "Duh, you just need to get rid of some of your shoes." um, yeah. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Like loving yourself more, eating healthier, making time for yourself, making time to exercise and work out. I mean, now I'll be honest and say that that's definitely been, I think, like more of a struggle here lately is finding the time because uh, my schedule and on top of that, me staying up late at night. So I can't totally blame it on the schedule. um, but yeah, setting more goals, um, I think it is another thing that's empowering, like, because the thing about it is it gives you something to look forward to, setting more goals. Here's a big one: not being afraid of failure,
That's huge.
not being afraid of failure. That is the biggest reason why people don't get started, why
Fact.
people don't move, is I'm afraid to fail. And it's like, if you really realize there is no failure, once again, if you really get that thing in your spirit that, failure, first attempt in learning, like, you're not, as long as you get up, as long as you keep moving, as long as you keep learning,
Yeah.
you're not failing. If you're learning, you're not failing,
Right.
you know, no. And the thing that we've been talking about today is surrounding yourself with positivity, surrounding yourself with people who are going to speak positively into your life. There is one big thing that super turns me off. I don't come around me saying no negative stuff. And especially don't be trying to speak no negative stuff into my life. I be
Right.
like, listen, you go over there with that.
Hmm.
I don't like that type of stuff.
Facts.
If you want to speak negative, speak it over yourself. Don't speak it over me. I don't want no part of that.
I agree.
And so if my thing is, if you're around negative people and people that don't want to do nothing and people that don't want to move and people that don't want to strive and people that can't see, past their own nose, those ain't the people that you need to be around.
Right.
And I'm not talking about judging people. I'm just saying, if they're in that space, that ain't the space that you need to be in. So,
Agreed. If I may piggyback on the failures,
yeah.
the beautiful thing that everyone needs to realize how important failure is to success. There is no success without any failures. For instance, everyone thinks Arnold Schwarzenegger was just born muscular. No, the whole point of a person to get that way is muscle failure, meaning you keep working out until you can't lift anymore. That's the development,
Right.
getting to the point of failure. So when failures come in most businesses, many businessmen will tell you they've had plenty of businesses that failed until that one that successfully came out. And I actually looked back at everything, and to Blast, if I'm correct, I had between 6 or 7 businesses that failed before Blast came. So understand, there's nothing wrong with failure. Failure is a tool. So definitely don't get intimidated. I can understand the frustration because I got there. But believe, take what you've learned from that failure. If there's good in it, take that good with it and apply it to the next thing for your advantage. I know that's worked for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you added that, because that is so important. I mean, failure is necessary. I mean, because it's a part of the learning process. It's like, and I used to tell my kids, like, I mean, you ain't never played basketball before. You ain't never played football before. So how is it that you expect to walk out on the court or walk out onto the field and be a superstar NFL or NBA player?
Exactly.
That don't happen.
Sure.
That don't even make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a learning process that has to take place in order for you to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's going to be some pain, some sore muscles, some maybe some injuries, but that's a part of the process to get to the prize. So
yeah, absolutely. So I know we're running out of time, but real quick, I wanted to give the definition of personal empowerment. So personal empowerment is the sense that you are in control of your life. It enables you to make positive decisions and take action that will bring you closer to achieving your goals and ambitions. To become more self-empowered, that is the key, is holding on to that passion and that ambition. And here's the question: what makes you feel empowered? When you can focus on a single thought and keep your mind under control, you are empowered and you have control over your life. When you can reject an offer with authority, given a valid reason and logic, for your answer, you are empowered and have control. When you are not lured by external elements, jealousy, comparison, you are empowered and have control. So I just wanted to throw that in. But I really feel like this has been a really good conversation, and it's definitely been encouraging for me. So.
I think most of the stuff we talk about, we get more out of it if no one else does. We are winning. One more thing I did want to add before we head out.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle, when he was on Comedy Central and they presented a contract to him for $50 million, he was empowered enough to know not to take that contract, walked away from it, was gone for, I think, 3 to 5 years. Then comes back and nets a deal with Netflix for $60 million. So you never know.
Yeah.
When that empowerment is strong within you, you'll know who you are and where you should go, and that's a definite fact.
Yeah, and just like we said in the beginning, adversity is a blessing in disguise. because like you said, you never know what the outcome is going to be, you know. And sometimes we do have to have the power to say no to the things that ultimately are not going to be healthy for us. I mean, obviously he saw something in that deal that just didn't resonate with him, and it didn't jive, and he walked away. And later on, there's another blessing down the road. So um, I think it was a wise decision, you know.
I agree. I agree. All righty. So, therapist Tori, what would you like to say before we head out?
Well, once again, it's been wonderful. It's been a great conversation. I appreciate those who tuned in to listen. Thank you, Erica, for being here and your questions. And I just want to tell everybody, have a wonderful weekend. Do your thing, relax, whatever it is, but have a good time.
And remember, if you need help, Therapist Tori is there to help you. There's her website, www.vdorseytherapy.com. Definitely check her out if you need anything. All right. Well, guys, we will see you not this Friday. It'll be another week, but we'll have a great show waiting for you next Friday. So definitely come check us out. And we appreciate it. Have a great night. See ya.
Bye.